Hello and welcome to my Worlds 2023 prediction and pick'ems video, where I go over what I think the pick'ems and crystal ball are going to be because people wanted that, as well as some predictions for the tournament. And yeah, so we're going to go over this and why it is set up the way it is, because obviously not all the crystal ball pick'ems are up here because some I really don't give a shit about. These ones I think are the most interesting ones to go over. Other ones I don't care. I don't care what's the most popular Drake. What I'm not going to say who I think is going to win Worlds for the pick'ems because that's what the prediction is, and the predictions are set up the way they are for a reason as well. So, by the way, speaking of predictions, my predictions for Worlds and individual games will be members only tier as it has been for the entire season. For the four major regions. So if you want my actual predictions for who's going to win which games, you have to become a member and pay for that. So, champions. Most roles played. I'm going Maokai. Now, maybe I'm just not paying attention. But Maokai has 3 roles that it's been played in this year going into this tournament. We have it being played in jungle, top lane, and support by at least T1, by gen.g, I believe. Maybe KT. No. Zeus is the only one that played the top lane, so I guess T1's the only one. But I could see JDG doing it. I could see a team like. Honestly, I could see a team like G2 doing it. Something very interesting like that. Sejuani, I could see being played in 3 roles. It has been played in mid lane. Poppy, possibly. Really, it's something that can be played in top lane that can then be played in the jungle and also support. Like, that's really the only angle here. So, I'm going to go with Maokai. Gragas is always a solid one. It's kind of like who's going to play 3 roles. And we're going to go with Maokai. Now, the most picked champion. Excuse me. So, who is going to be picked the most? Not banned. It said most picked. I believe most picked. Oh. Let's go with Zaya. Zaya most picked because the most banned will be Kesa. One leading into the other. Maybe both are banned. But right now we're going to go with Kesa most banned, Zaya most picked as a result. Most deaths, I believe, could be Nautilus or Alistar. We're going to go Nautilus. But either way, it's going to be a support. Who is going to go in and die? Alistar, Nautilus, both are very, very strong possibilities. Leona falls into there as well as a feasible option. Highest win rate, we're going to go Fiora. Remember, only 5 games have to be played on the champion, so you see a player like Zika, Bin, 369, somebody like that playing it, Zeus playing it, and it'll get to 5 wins. Well, not 5 wins, but I could imagine seeing an 80+% win rate on the champion and it being played in 7, 8, 9, 10 games or so throughout the entire tournament. As long as players like the minor region teams don't touch it, including C9, then we'll be okay. Players, most champs picked. I believe this is Kanavi. So going into this event, Kanavi is the player that has the most champions picked going into this event. No, that's wrong. It's Canyon. Canyon had 18. Kanavi had 16. But Kanavi, not to lead in this, but I could see Kanavi going farther in the tournament, couldn't you? So that's part of this. But it's either Kanavi, Canyon, Carrier, one of those 3. It's kind of like pick which one. Most kills in a game. Who's going to win a blowout and just go off? Let's go with Ruler. I didn't want to pick Ruler. But I think you could pick many different people. Who's going to just blow out a Western team? JDG can. Any Eastern team could at any given time. So we're going to go with Ruler. I think that anyone could pick Pays, aiming. It's going to be an 80 carry, though, I think. Highest KDA. This is interesting because you want to pick Knight, right? Because Knight's KDA is great. He's a great KDA player. But Guma's KDA was fantastic last year as well, even though they didn't get to find... my God, that was so stupid. Obviously, you got to finals. But Knight and Upset. Upset was the one. Upset didn't get very far, but still had a great KDA, right? So who will have a good KDA, but maybe not get that far as well? I think that it's feasible. So do you want to pick Knight? Do you think JDG are dominant enough that he's just going to have the best KDA throughout the entire event? I don't know. I'm going to go with Chovy on this one. That could be very wrong, but that's what I'm going to go with. Most first bloods. Who's going to start game strong? Who's going to be after it and make things happen? Who has a super high KP in the jungle? And not only that, who's going to get the kills? Let's go with Light. I think Weibo is the one that starts popping people in the mouth early. Let's go with them. And it's the bot lane of Light and Crisp. Who's guaranteed to get a Penta? Gala on Kesa. Gala on Kesa, that's a bonus point for sure. Saying that he's going to get a Penta on his signature. And then Light for most First Bloods. Most First Bloods participated in would probably just be, pick your jungler. Kanavi, owner, Peanut, whoever. Minor, it said what region would have it, pretty much essentially what minor region would go the farthest, and it's going to be PCS. That'll be part of this, obviously. Who's going to play the most different champs? JDG. They don't necessarily have to win the entire tournament to get this. I think that they have the most diverse champion pools when you take everything into account, and they can offer the most different looks. And for that reason, most champs played JDG. Now, predictions. Like I've said, I know that, especially with play-ins, this is all scripted in terms of we know what the bracket is. I'm not going to put that down on here. Individual game predictions, things like that are definitely going to be members only. When it comes to each day, predicting the games for the next day. But the two teams that I believe will get out are Golden Guardians and PSG, which is no shock to anybody. Maple has never not gotten out of play-ins as a member of Flash Wolves, Talon, PSG. And Golden Guardians, I think, are better than BDS. Spoiler, how's that going to go? We'll talk about it tomorrow. But now, if BDS beat Golden Guardians, though, so caveat, if BDS win, I do think if there's an angle for CFO to go or GAM, it's that. I don't have a lot of faith in BDS. I think CFO has a better chance in GAM because, actually, no. Levi and DeSheo sounds like a recipe for BDS to lose. So I'm keeping that in mind. Now, you're going to say, why aren't you doing like the predictions for how do you think each one's going to go? 1-0 and do all that shit with the bracket and the Swiss? No. Which are going to be the top 8 teams coming out of there? Not going to say, obviously it's possible that these 8 teams don't get out. It's random. In the end, there's some randomness to this that one cannot predict. Now, I could run a simulator like other people have, But my simulator won't be the same as your simulated result for what the matchups are to begin with off the rip, and with quarterfinals and things like that. So I'm going to go over the top 8, what the quarterfinalists I think will be, and then I'll give you a little insight on what I think maybe like the top 4 teams are out of those 8 and who I think will win. Now, obviously, those top 4 could play each other in quarters, and thus the best 2 teams could play in quarters, but it is what it is. I don't know how that's actually going to work specifically. I'm sure somebody will say in the comments, but really, I'm not too worried about that right now. So, there's no reset if there's doubly them. So, quarters, the top 8 teams. So, who do I think is going to get out? I think that JDG. I think JDG will get out. I think gen.g, T1, KT will get out. I got LNG getting out. I have G2 getting out. That's 6. Now, this is where things are going to get interesting. So, I'm going to get Weibo getting out. I think Weibo can get out of this. I do think Xiaohu, Light, and Crisp can get them out of Swiss stage. And then there's 7. So that leaves D plus or BLG. And we're going D plus. And I have somebody being real cute in my comment section the last day or so about me. In my narrative video yesterday, going over how I believe the 2 seed is the one that chokes, because 3 out of the last 4 years, it has been the 2 seed that choked, and they're trying to get all, antsy and well, that can't be, you can't use that as a way to determine who's going to choke. You should just essentially just throw darts, I guess, or make something up as to why. And I mean, the way I look at it, I imagine the people that thought Top Esports would get out of groups last year, FPX in 2021, RNG in 2019, feel the same way as that person did now. There's no way. There's just no stinking way. Well, 3 of the last 4 years, the 2 seed has been the one that failed. The 1 year it wasn't. It was a play-in team that was LGD. So am I going to really blame a play-in team 4 seed? Do I think that's a choke? No. Frankly, I don't. So I have BLG as the one not getting into the top 8. You all know, if you've watched my videos, I'm not a huge Yagao supporter. I believe that all of these teams have a better mid laner than Yagao. If you notice, all of these teams have a better mid laner than Yagao. Junglers. Everybody's got a better jungler. Possibly because I had lower. I could add Cuz lower. I don't know. It was Cuz way Cuz. Sorry. That's... Mid lane was true. Shun I had higher. Let me think about this. It's been a long day of work. With Shun, carry-oriented player through and through. And the team has a standard look. It's a predictable look. KT has a look. T1 has a look. Those are the 2 teams with the big look. Weibo also. So Weibo, T1, KT, BLG are very, very predictable, in my opinion, in the manner in which they need to play to win. Their win conditions from draft is very telegraphed. The players are clearly better in one of 2 ways. Facilitator, therefore more supportive, or a carry-oriented player. Where everybody else, I think you have a little bit more variability, a little more diversity in how you can approach the game. And also not int. Where BLG, specifically, Yagao, numbers aren't great, obviously. And I'm not a big Yagao guy anyways. As far as facilitators are concerned, I think Faker, I think BDD, I think Xiaohu are all better facilitators than he is. So, there's that. And then when you take into account Shun, I'm just not a big Shun guy. I think he's a carry, but I think when he's against other carry-oriented junglers, he ends up in a little bit of a hole. They're going to struggle. Now, Bin and Elk obviously are excellent players. On's a good player, but at the same time, I do wonder. I think BLG are the one that are out. I think G2 gets in. And I wouldn't, I'm just going to add this, and it's not in my top 8, but I do think you should be respecting Fnatic in place of Weibo, possibly, or D+. I think Fnatic are going to get better at this tournament than they were in season finals. They continue to get better and better and better. We'll see how Oscarinin plays. That is the massive deal. If Oscarinin sucks, the team's not going to get in. But if Oscarinin can play the way he did in summer, I believe that Fnatic have a chance to get into this top 8. I really do. I think that Razork and Humanoid have been very powerful in the mid jungle, and it's going to be a lot to handle for teams that cannot offer 2 carry-oriented players in those roles and allow the top side of the rift to play very telegraphed and weak side and be essentially a glorified support like Oscarinin did. Only JDG really has that look as well, where they formulated it in a way that, hey, Kanavi Knight, you deal a shit ton of damage, and 369, you have less than like 19% of our gold or something, and you're glorified support playing Ornn more than anything else. That's kind of the way I look. Fnatic and JDG actually have very similar looks when it comes to top side of the rift in the way in which they play. It's no one else really is offering that look going into this event. So, JDG and Fnatic for that. Now, the winner. So the top 4 of these 8, in my opinion, are JDG, gen.g, T1, and LNG. I believe those 4 are the top ones. T1 have never not gotten to semis with Faker, so we're going to go with that. Gen.g, I think, are excellent, and JDG is cracked, and LNG have looked very good at the end of the season as well. Tarzan Scout is a nasty mid-jungle duo. Oh, I'm going to say this. D+ didn't get out in my predictions. Before the season started, I picked D+ to win. I am abandoning D+. I'm saying that now. I feel like some people, they'll make like a prediction like way in advance and then predict someone else for their winner. And then when the first team wins, they'll pretend like this one didn't even count. And it was only the first team. Like, oh my God, I thought this 8 months ago. Just don't think about what just happened and that I, jumped ship or whatever. Like, no, either you stick with it or you abandon it and you admit you abandoned it. That's how I view things. So, JDG, gen.g, T1, LNG. And who do I think is going to win of these 4? Because I don't know who's going to play who is the best team of, in the end, these 8. I'm picking JDG to lose. I'm picking JDG to lose. I think gen.g are going to beat JDG. Or gen.g are going to win Worlds. This team has what it needed to do to get to the next step after last year, it has done. Chovy has become an all-around player. Peanut has become more diverse. Doran has become more diverse. And Pays and Delight are very good. And Pays is excellent. And I believe that Pays is the next great player. And I think that's not a shock to anybody. And he's like the next face. Pays is the next face of League of Legends, in my honest opinion. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and that'll be whatever. 17-year-old chokes. 18-year-old chokes, whatever. But I think that's what I'm feeling right now. That's what I'm thinking right now. I think gen.g win. I think Pays goes off. I think that it's going to be something. It'll be something, but honestly, I have this feeling that gen.g are going to win. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.